Good morning guys and welcome back. In this video, we will do a recap on the selection mode and we will start solving if problems. So as we said guys in the previous video, we have a mode on Matlab called selection. It's different than the sequential default mode because in the default mode, Matlab will solve the commands from the top of bottom and Matlab has to solve all the commands written on the command window or on the script. However, in the selection, Matlab has to select the block of commands where the condition is valid. So if I have an if, then if this condition after this if is valid, Matlab will go and do the block of commands under this if. After that, if I have anything else, Matlab will skip the condition if it is not valid and go to the else or the else if or anything else to do the block of commands. So basically guys, this mode is called selection, and this selection is based on what is called if statement. So as its name, it is an if, so this is a condition. And this if can be used in functions as well as in script as well as on my command window. So like this function here, function called guess my number x. As you can see in this example, there's no outputs. In this case, whenever you don't have outputs for the function, you will not have any brackets here that is equal to this function. In other words, this function is only to print out something on the command window because it doesn't have any output or any variable in the output. So this function is called guess my number. It has an input of x. So if x is equal to 2, so if the user has entered the correct x, which is here 2, then this function will print out in the command window, congrats, you guessed my number, and then we have an end. Guys, the end for the if is mandatory, which means if you don't put an end for your if, then Matlab will give you an error. In this case right here in this function, I only have one condition, which is x is equal to 2. Remember, why should I put 2 equal sign? Because in fact, if I put 1 equal sign, Matlab, this will not be a relational operator. I know guys that if I put x is equal to 2 on Matlab, then x will have the value of 2. However, if I put x equal to 2, this is a relational operator that could be true if x is equal to 2 and false if x is not equal to 2. So guys, in this case, I'm only using one if without neither else if nor else. In this case, guys, you should put and. You should, of course, specify the condition. You don't put any semicolon after the condition, after if. And then we have here, in fact, one command to be executed, which is this fprint f. Now, what happens here is that Matlab will start executing this f or this function. If x is equal to 2, Matlab will go over the block of commands under this x, and then it is the end. If x is not equal to 2, Matlab will never do anything because there is no other commands if the condition is not valid, and then Matlab will reach its end. Which means, guys, if I do this on Matlab, and please do it in your Matlab, you will see that this statement here, congrats, you guessed my number, is only valid, is only printed out on your command window if you entered 2 as the input of this function. Let's do it. So as you can see, guys, this is my function. And then here, if I call this function on my command window by giving it an input of 2, then what happens is printing out this sentence telling me that you guessed my number. Now, if I use the same function, if I call the same function, but with another value or with another input that is not equal to 2, like 3, for example, you will see that nothing has happened here. Alright? So to make things clearer, I will clear all my variables and clear my command window. So guys, you can see that here there is nothing in the workspace. I have this function to be called in the command window. And then I'm gonna call this command window again for an input of 3. I'm gonna call this function again for an input of 3 in my command window. So you can see, guys, that nothing has happened, as if this function doesn't exist. I don't have anything, any variable in my workspace, and nothing is printed out in my command window. And this means, guys, this is because I don't have any output here. And this is because, in fact, MATLAB has skipped this command. So why MATLAB skipped this command? This is because the condition was not valid. What if I have another statement where I'm indicating an else, which means anything else? So if this condition is not valid, anything else, I'm gonna print out this statement, fprintf, not right, but a good guess, like a motivation for the user to enter another time. So guys, how do you think MATLAB will go over these commands? Basically, MATLAB will take number 2, the input. If this input is 2, then MATLAB will print out this statement and will skip all other commands until the end. Now, if x is not 2, MATLAB will skip this command and MATLAB will move to this else to print out this command. So basically, guys, here I have 2 blocks of commands. Block 1, if the condition is valid. Block 2, if the condition is not valid for anything else. This is else, guys. And remember, after else, I don't have to put any condition, all right? Because else is different than else if that we will see later on. So, if x is equal to 2, then block 1 will be executed. Now, if this is false, if the condition is false, then block 2 will be executed. Now, guys, I'm gonna now add else for MATLAB to see what happens, alright? So I'm gonna say now else fprintf, try, let's say, another \n, close the quotation. And then, guys, I'm gonna save this function and clear my command window and run it again for the same previous input, which is 3. Now you can see that I have another statement. It is not congrats because MATLAB will skip it. It is try another time. Now what if I need to indicate the size of this input? Let's say here, else if, so I'm gonna here specify a condition. After else if, you should specify a condition. X is greater than 2, I'm gonna give the user a hint saying that too big. Now, else if x is less than 2, I'm gonna say too small, so that the user can predict what is this number. I'm gonna save it, clear my command window, and try it for, let's say, the same number, which is here 3. Too big. Now what if I put 1? Too small. What if I put -1? Too small. What if I put 2? Congrats, you guessed my number. So guys, in this case, what happens is that MATLAB will come here to this condition. MATLAB will compare this input that you have specified in your function with this 2. Is it equal? Then MATLAB will print this sentence, congrats, and will skip all of these commands, even if there is an error inside them, because MATLAB will skip them, and then MATLAB will end this if. Now, if x wasn't equal to 2, but it was greater than 2, MATLAB will do this command here, but will skip this one and this one. Now, if x is less than 2, and this is the last possible condition, then in this case, MATLAB will print out this command, and then MATLAB will skip these 2 commands. Guys, I can do this in a more simplified way, and this is by removing this if with the command. with the condition. Because in fact, else means anything else. What is anything else here? X is not equal to 2. X is not greater than 2. Then of course it should be when X is less than 2. I'm going to save this function and clear my command window. And then do it again for a small number. And you can see that it will give me too small, because in fact this one means I should skip this statement, I should skip this command, and then I'm gonna arrive to this one which is too small. Guys, I'm gonna show you how, if you have an error, even in else if or in else, Matlab will not go over this error whenever you have a valid conditions at the top. How Matlab will skip them. So guys, here, let's say, I'm gonna say X is greater, f print f, let's say, I'm gonna remove this f here, f print only, alright? And I'm gonna save this function. And here, so I have an error here because it should be f print f, alright? But here, I'm gonna say, guess my number, which is 2, so that Matlab will not go over all other commands. So you can see, guys, that Matlab will not give me any error because Matlab has kept this command until the end, alright? Now, if I put 3, then you will have an error. There is no f print f for this type of inputs. Now, if you have 1, you will never have this error because Matlab will not go over this command here. It will be neglected even if it has an error. You can see only this error if Matlab reaches this command, and this is when this condition x is greater than 2 is valid.